Kuru dynasty. And then we will be learning the story of Shantanu Maharaj, Devi Ganga, and how Bhishma Pitamaha born. Okay, so let's begin with the story of Kacha and Devyani. So as we know, Janmejaya wanted to know the story about his ancestors, and Sage Vaishampayana is narrating him the story. Then we have learned the story of King Dushyanta and Devi Shakuntala, who gave the birth to Bharat Raja. According to his name only, the country got the name Bharatavarsha. Okay, so this is the same Devyani. Okay, yesterday we heard the story of Devyani and Yayati. So before marrying to Yayati, Devyani had one pre-story. Today we'll learn that, what had happened with her. So let's begin. During the tale of Bharata's dynasty, Vaishampayan chose the characters Kacha and Devyani and he started the narration. This narration begins with the fight of the Asuras and the Devas. As we know, these Asuras always wanted to win over the heavens, that is the Swargaloka. So, Shukracharya, the Acharya, the guru of the Asuras, he wanted one divine power. And what was that divine power? To make alive the dead Asuras. And this Vidya, this divine power was called as Mrita Sanjeevani. It was a sacred knowledge. By chanting the mantras, Shukracharya could be able to bring back the dead demons. He can make them alive. And with this ability, the Asuras gained a tremendous advantage. And the Devatas got troubled because they didn't had this kind of Vidya, this kind of sacred knowledge with them. So the story begins like what happened to gain this Vidya. The Asuras had already possessed this Vidya through Shukracharya. But Devatas didn't had, what did they do? They sent Kacha, the son of Guru Brihaspati. Guru Brihaspati is the guru of the Devatas. He had one divine son whose name was Kacha. The Devatas requested Kacha to go to Arya ashram, learn the sacred knowledge of Mrita Sanjeevani and come back to heaven. And if he had that knowledge, then when the Asuras and Devatas would have the war, then the dead Devatas can be made alive again. And for this purpose, Kacha was being chosen. Kacha's mission began. Then Kacha meets Shukracharya. What happened then? Shukracharya said, okay, I accept you as my disciple and I will teach you the Amrita Sanjeevani knowledge. I'll give you this sacred knowledge, and on that day onwards, Kacha became the loyal and very good, unwavering student of Shukracharya. Shukracharya started teaching Kacha. One day, Kacha was gaining this knowledge, and Asuras thought that this Kacha is the son of Guru Brihaspati, and Brihaspati is the guru of the Devatas. Then this Kacha will go back to Devatas and he will share his sacred knowledge with them, and this may trouble the Asuras. So what did they do? They did two attacks on him. We'll learn the first attack. The Asuras grew suspicious, and one day while Kacha was grazing the cows in the forest, the Asuras attacked on him. They killed him and they feed his body and the remains to the jackals. But that evening, when Kacha didn't return with the cows, Shukracharya and his daughter Devyani, they got worried. And due to Devyani's request, she asked Shukracharya to get back Kacha alive. Shukracharya, with his divine sight, got to know what had happened with Kacha. And then, because of Devyani's kind request, he made Kacha alive by using the Mrita Sanjeevani knowledge. And this time, Kacha was saved. But again, these Asuras were with fear. They thought, okay, this time Shukracharya had saved Kacha, but we will kill him again. And this time, we will use some trick that Shukracharya will not able to make him alive again. Then what did they do? They killed Kacha again. They burnt his body into ashes. They mixed this ashes into the wine and they offered this wine to Shukracharya. Unknowingly, Shukracharya drank that wine. And what happened? After that, he drank that wine with his divine sight and with his divine knowledge. Shukracharya understood that this wine was the normal one. It wasn't normal. I had drank something unusual. And then Kacha with the ashes, he was present in the form of ashes. He resided in the stomach of Shukracharya. Again, Devyani got worried and she pleaded in front of Shukracharya to get Kacha alive again. And this time, Shukracharya said, if I break him out of my stomach, I may die, but I will still try. And he started chanting the Mrita Sanjeevani mantras. And due to that power, Kacha came out of the stomach of Shukracharya. And due to his unwavering discipline and his respect towards Shukracharya, when Shukracharya died and Kacha came out of his body, Kacha then started chanting the Mrita Sanjeevani mantras and he came alive. Shukracharya came alive due to this chanting. In this way, Guru and the disciple, the relationship was very strong between them. And Shukracharya got very happy with this unwavering respect of Kacha towards him. In this way, Shukracharya got alive again. But at this time, Devyani fell in love with Kacha. And she said, I want to marry you. Kacha didn't reply with her. He said, because I came from the stomach of your father, I'm like your brother right now. And it's not like my dharma to marry you. I cannot marry you. Please forgive me. But Devyani got angry and what did she do? She cursed Kacha that you will never be able to use this Mrita Sanjeevani knowledge in front of anyone. You'll forget this knowledge at the most peak moment when you need it. But Kacha calmly just took the curse and after thinking of a moment, he said that, Oh Devyani, I was following my dharma and that's why I denied your proposal and I didn't want to marry you because I consider you as my sister. But you didn't realize this and you are following the adharma. So I curse you back that you will never be the queen. You will never marry a person of your own choice. Or if you marry a person of your own choice, you will never like be his favorite one. He will betray you. In this way, they both gave curse to each other. And yesterday in the story, we saw that Devyani had a fight with Sharmishta, and Sharmishta's son Puru, he became like the lineage began from there. So in this way, they both had to bear the curses and the consequences. So what do you learn from this story? First thing,
Don't misuse your power.
respect your teachers. Kacha always respected his. Yes,
Don't misuse your powers.
very good. Respect your teachers. Do your duty with dedication. Follow the path of dharma. Never force relationships on anyone. And always follow the path of truth. So these are the morals we learn from this story. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Ma'am, are you there?
Okay. The detailed genealogy. So it begins this dynasty. Then from Kuru, King Pratipa, then Vichitra married with Ambika and Ambalika. Then came the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Pandavas are five in number. Son.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
And third is Vikarna and so. And there are five Pandavas. The father of Pandavas is Pandu. And the five Pandavas are Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev. These five Pandavas were married to. Who knows the answer? The five Pandavas were married to.
Draupadi, ma'am. And your voice is breaking
Yes,
a lot, ma'am.
Draupadi.
Your voice is breaking a lot, ma'am.
So, am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Your voice was just coming and going. It was breaking a lot, and your camera was freezing a lot.
Okay. So, Can anyone tell the name of the 5 Pandavas?
Ma'am, Arjun, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, Yudhishthira.
Yes, always begin from the elder one. Dharmaraj Yudhishthir, Brukodar Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev. These are the 5 Pandavas. So Arjun had a son whose name was
Abhimanyu.
very good. Abhimanyu had a son whose name was
Parikshit,
yes. And Parikshit had a son whose name was
Janmejaya.
yes. So you understood how the Kuru dynasty began? Yes. Now Janmejaya wanted to know how King Shantanu had married Devi Ganga and later on he had married Devi Satyavati. Okay. So there is a story of King Mahabhisha also. I'll narrate that. Then only you'll understand how King Shantanu became the king of Hastinapur. So this is a story of Mahabhisha. He was a noble king from Ikshvaku dynasty. And he was a very powerful and valorous king, and he was from other celestial abodes. He frequently visited the court of Lord Brahma. One day, river goddess, which is Ganga, she also had entered Brahmaji's court, and a gust of wind shifts her sari. While all others lower their gaze respectfully, King Mahabhisha looks at her with desire. And in this way, when he saw her, Brahmaji looked at him and he became very angry. Brahmaji thought, like, this is disrespect towards Devi Ganga. You should not see her in such condition. And that's why Lord Brahma became angry on King Mahabhisha and he cursed him that you will be born on the earth. And Mahabhisha request Lord Brahma that okay, I accept your curse, but I want to be born in the Kuru dynasty, especially in the Kuru dynasty as a king. And I want to be the son of King Pratipa. Brahmaji granted his wish. Then Devi Ganga also felt like it was like her mistake also. And she said, it was not only Mahabhisha's mistake, I accept my mistake also. And I want to share this curse with him. I also will be born on the earth and I want to become wife of Mahabhisha. Brahmaji said, yes, your wish is granted. Then Ganga appears as a human body on the earth before King Pratipa. And when he was meditating there, she sat on his right lap and she says to him, I want to marry you. But King Pratipa says that I am very devoted to my wife Sunanda. I cannot marry you, but I promise you, you will marry my son. And my son will be Shantanu. Now this Shantanu is the same King Mahibhisha who got the curse in the Brahmaji's court. And according to the curse, this Mahibhisha became Shantanu and he married Devi Ganga. In this way, Ganga and Shantanu were tied into a marriage. But Ganga said to Shantanu that you will never ask me any question. You will just follow whatever I am saying. And in this way, one by one, Ganga gave birth to 7 children. Each time she gave birth to a boy, she used to flow that boy into the river water. Every time Shantanu Maharaj watched this, but as he had promised to Devi Ganga, he would not ask any question. Then what happened? These 7 children were flowed into the river water. And when eighth son was born, the eighth son was Bhishma, whose original name was Devavrat. When he was born, and when Devi Ganga was flowing that kid into the water, Shantanu Maharaj came running from backside and said, "Oh Ganga, please wait. Why are you flowing our children into the river water? I want to ask you." And at that moment, he broke the promise which he had given to Devi Ganga. Ganga said, "O King Shantanu, I had said you never ask questions for whichever actions I am doing. Even your father Pratipa, he also had suggested you not to ask any questions. And today you broke that promise. And you are asking me why I'm doing such things. Now I'll take this child with me. And when the child grows up, I'll come back and hand over this child to you. And the name of our child will be Devavrat." In this way, Bhishma, Devavrat got the name later, Bhishma. He went with Ganga, and Ganga taught him all the skills which should be used in the war. She also gave him the knowledge about the Vedas and about the Dharma. And after few years, she came back grown up Bhishma or Devrat, and she handed over him to Shantanu. During these years, Shantanu was feeling very lonely. And when he was in a forest, he saw Satyavati. And he told in front of her, he requested her, "Oh Satyavati, I want to marry you." But Satyavati's father had a condition. He said that, "You can marry Satyavati, but you have to promise me, whoever sons are born from Satyavati, the elder son will be the next king of Hastinapur." And Shantanu Maharaj agreed with this. You know, actually, Devavrat should be had declared the king of Hastinapur. But the promise given to the Satyavati's father did not allow Shantanu Maharaj to declare Devavrat as the next king of Hastinapur. And here begins the original Mahabharata. Mahabharata means just not clashes between the families. It means respecting the relationship, keeping the promises, understanding the truth behind them, and then behaving according to the Dharma. This is the reality of Mahabharata. And in this way, Satyavati then gave birth to two children. First was Chitrangad, and second was Vichitravirya. Here, one side Devavrat was growing up, and also his stepbrothers Chitrangad and Vichitravirya were growing up. Then one day Chitrangad had a war with the Gandharvas and he lost his life. And on the other hand, Vichitravirya had possessed one disease because of which he used to fall ill every now and then. Because of his illness, he was not able to rule the kingdom of Hastinapur. He was declared the king, but he was not able to do the duties in a good way. Then Satyavati requested Devavrat to take a decision that Vichitravirya should get married now. But here comes the twist. Bhishma, that is Devavrat, he had taken a vow that he would never marry. And this was the condition put forth before him only on the words of Satyavati. And in this way, Bhishma didn't marry everyone all his life. He was a celibate one. वो ब्रह्मचर्य का पालन कर रहे थे. In this way, he remained single person all his life. And because of this great vow, his name became Bhishma. Shantanu Maharaj gave him one boon that because of this pratigya, because of this vow you have taken that you will not marry anyone all your life, I give you one boon that whenever you wish, at that moment you will die. Otherwise, no one can kill you. You will be the most powerful person in Hastinapur. So, in this way, Bhishma got the boon and he didn't marry anyone. He got the name Bhishma because of that vow. And next, Vichitravirya was married to the two princes. The princes were from Kashi, Ambika and Ambalika. And Ambika and Ambalika were living with Vichitravirya and ruling the kingdom. But due to Vichitravirya's illness, one day he had to die. And because Satyavati requested Veda Vyasa to have entry into the kingdom of Hastinapur, Veda Vyasa is son of Satyavati and his father is sage Parashar. And she requested Veda Vyasa to perform a Niyog Yoga so that Ambika and Ambalika would give birth to the upcoming princess of Hastinapur. And in this way, Dhritarashtra and Pandu were born. Also, there was a maid named Parishrami who also included in this Niyoga Yoga. And she got a son whose name was Vidura. Then Pandu was declared as the next king of Hastinapur. Dhritarashtra was married with Gandhari, Pandu was married with Kunti, and Vidura unmarried at that time. But few days later, few years later, Vidura also got married with Vidurani, but he didn't had any children. So the children of Dhritarashtra are called as Kauravas, and the children of Pandu are called as Pandavas. In this way, for the throne of Hastinapur, these Kauravas and Pandavas had enemy type relationship in between them. From tomorrow onwards, we learn how the Kauravas started disturbing the Pandavas because they didn't want them to be the next king of Hastinapur. Understood the story? How Shantanu had married Ganga and how Bhishma Pitama's birth was, and how Shantanu Maharaj married Satyavati, and then the Kauravas and Pandavas came into existence. So if you have any questions, you can ask me, please.
No questions, ma'am.
So you are understanding everything?
Yes, ma'am. I have the in stories.
Wow. So the morals we are learning from the stories are always have respect for your elders. Always have self-control. Keep the promises you are giving to other people. Also, our actions have consequences. So please be careful while doing duties and responsibilities, which we say as karma.
Ma'am, one question. Why did Ganga float her son in the river?
There's a beautiful story around that. The 8 Vasus, they were roaming in the forest and they visited Rishi Vasishta Ashram. There they saw a cow which was very divine, and it was Kamadhenu cow. The Kamadhenu cow's speciality is that she fulfills the wishes. But these 8 Vasus, they wanted to take this cow with them. So they steal it from the Vasishta Rishi's ashram and they went away from them. When Vasishta Rishi came back, he didn't find Kamdhenu in the hermitage. He cursed that those who have stolen my cow, they will have to take birth on the earth and they will have to struggle on the earth. complete birth will be into a struggle story. When the Vasus got to know about the curse, they were worried. They went to Ganga and they said, "We have been cursed, we have to take birth on the earth. We request you to be our mother so that you'll take care of us and you will free us quickly." Ganga promised and she said, "I can free 7 of you, but the curse cannot be taken back. One of you has to bear the curse. One has to bear the consequences. One has to live a long life on the earth and has to face the life full of struggles." And that Vasu was actually Devavrat. The 7 children were flown into the river water and they were freed quickly from their birth without any struggle. But as per the Ganga's condition and the curse wouldn't be taken back, Devvrat had to remain on this earth for a long time and a life full of struggles. And as we know, Devvrat is called as Bhishma Pitama, and all his life he had faced so many struggles. So understood why Bhishma had so many struggles in his life. Actually, Mahabharatam is a detailed story. If you understand a character, his previous birth and the birth going on, the character he's playing in the Mahabharata. Also, there are some characters which have played their role again, like Ambika and Ambalika had an elder sister whose name was Amba. Okay, and when Bhishma Pitamaha had reached Kashi Naresh and he, "I want all your 3 daughters to be married to my stepbrother Vichitravirya." At that time, Amba refused. She said, "No, I want to marry someone else. I love someone else. I cannot marry Vichitravirya." And at that time, she left the kingdom. And she said, "The person I am in love with, now he is also denying me. He is also not accepting my proposal." In this way, she was not accepted by Vichitravirya, nor she was accepted by the person she is in love with. Then she went into the ashrama of Parshuramji, the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And there he said that Bhishma had came there. Now Bhishma has to marry with you. When he met Bhishma, Bhishma said, "I had taken a vow. I cannot marry anyone." Then Amba took the revenge that neither I married with Vichitravirya, nor you are marrying with me, nor I am getting married with the person I am in love with. Totally, my life got spoiled. Now I take the revenge that I'll come back again in the next birth and I'll kill you, O Bhishma, for the disrespect you have given to a woman and her respect. In this way, she jumped into the sacred fire and with the revenge, with a vow in her heart. And again she took rebirth and she came as a daughter of Drupad king as Shikhandini. So this Amba, she came again as Shikhandini just to kill Bhishma in the Kurukshetra war. And this Shikhandini becomes Shikhandi. With the tapasya, with the penance, she gets the boon to become a boy because in the war only gents are allowed. Ladies are not allowed to fight in the war. During that time and the rules of the war, ladies were not allowed to fight. So, according to her vow, she has taken in the birth of Amba. She had said, "I'll be the reason behind the death of Bhishma." Now she has become a lady again. Then how can she enter the war? So she did a penance of a yaksha and she got the boon to become a boy. She became Shikhandi, and in the Kurukshetra war, she became the reason. Becoming from Shikhandini to Shikhandi. Now we can say he became the reason behind the death of Bhishma Pitama. So Mahabharatam is not so easy. Every character has a story. Previous birth, the birth going on, also the next birth. In this way, this curse, these promises, and the vows, they always had been an important role in Mahabharata. That's why the moral of these stories are keep your promises, do your duties and responsibilities with devotion, because these actions led to struggle and more consequences in your lives. Same thing happens in the Kali Yuga also. We are living our lives. We give promises to some people, and when we don't follow them, we have to like bear the struggle. We have to face the consequences. Okay, so this was the story of Bhishma. I hope everyone understood. Yes. And Bhishma Pitama is the one who sang Vishnu Sahasranama during his death. The 1,000 names of Bhagwan Vishnu. He had taken a great vow, but also he has followed duties and responsibilities very nicely. But at some places in his life, he forgot to follow the dharma. We will understand those stories from tomorrow. What happens between the Kauravas and the Pandavas? Why the Kauravas are so desperate to become the next king of Hastinapur, especially Duryodhan? Why doesn't he want Yudhishthira to become the next king of Hastinapur? We'll understand why there are so much clashes between these Kauravas and the Pandavas, because they are stepbrothers of each other. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. Are the doubts clear? Yes. Are the incidents, are the stories clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. From tomorrow onwards, we will be learning more interesting stories.
Ma'am, is there anything is there any video which I can watch about this and understand more?
Yes.
On YouTube, is there any videos which I can see about these stories? Anything which I can understand more about this?
Okay. We'll help you with this.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Because all of these names are so confusing. Yesterday you told many names and I was so confused. That's why I wasn't answering a lot.
Go through the notes. You can understand them nicely. Yesterday I had sent the notes. Go through the notes.
Okay, ma'am.
Actually, it's not confusing. We just have to understand who is the son and who is the father of whom, and why
Okay.
these things are happening like this. When you read the morals and the lessons which I have written in the notes, you'll easily understand what's happening in the story. Okay?
Ma'am, I'm really bad at remembering names.
It's okay not to remember you can remember just the main characters.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. I have chosen the way of Gurukulam, where the Guru used to just narrate everything and the students used to listen and grasp everything. Actually, it is the format of our Sanatan Dharma. Because in the ancient days, there were no books, PDFs, and like videos and all. People used to listen from their Guru and they used to grasp everything. Same things I want to introduce you so that the listening power increases. When we listen more, we understand more. Just want to spread the Sanatan Dharma in this way.
Okay.
Okay? We'll help you with the videos for sure. I understand. We'll take this ending prayer, Samatpan Prarthana. योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दौ वासुदेवौ व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकौ वीरं कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Jai Shri Krishna, everyone.
Jai Shri Krishna, ma'am.
Krishna ma'am, good night ma'am.
Good night. Thank you so much,
Good
everyone.
night, ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Jai Shri Krishna.